All right, Tim, what issues, specifically, what cityhood issues motivated you to run for city council? What would, if you had to name 3 things that you thought, hey, this is really important, I want to be someone who's involved in that decision-making process?
It would definitely be emergency services. Definitely emergency services first, development. I'm all for, I'd be a fool to think that Wildomar is not going to grow, but I'm all for smart development in the city of Wildomar. Also, like Bridget mentioned, a community center. A lot of people know I'm very involved with the youth of our community, being with the Elks Lodge, being youth activity. I see the need in Wildomar for more parks and maybe a community center where all the kids and everybody can get together, young and old, for Wildomar. Thank you.
Did anyone want to add anything, Bob?
As far as it might spur a person on, I think it's to look at the future. When they look at the future, what do you want Wildomar to look like? And I realized that we were not going to have the Wildomar that I'd be interested in if we just developed haphazardly. Now, I'd like the Wildomar of the future to have a place to work, place to play, place to do business, and preserve what we have today.
Steve?
I thought it was important to educate the people. When Wildomar first started this process, they got a CFA from a group out in Santa Ana, which said that the cityhood was infeasible. But what they did is they took that CFA and they brought it to Gary Thompson Consulting. He took those figures and he just pumped them up. So I thought it was important to educate the people on that.
Okay, now wait a minute. Let's not count here. Okay. If you want to share a thought on what motivated you, I don't want you to jump on Steve right there. Scott?
Yes, thank you. Actually, I'll stick with the 3 reasons or 3 main reasons I got involved. One is the emergency services, improving that. Infrastructure is huge, and the 3rd thing for me is economic.
And Cheryl, what motivated you, your primary issue?
Well, having worked on the infrastructure, including, the transportation, land planning, development for the last, since 2003, it's all about local control. If the people in this community aren't making the decisions, the county is going to make them for us. They don't live here, they're not affected on a daily basis by the decisions. We are. So it's vital, if we want to continue to have this be a community that we enjoy living in, that we take control. And I mean the community. Thank you.
Mark?
There's some things that the county does a good job at. One of those is our fire protection, which I feel is excellent. The County Sheriff's Department does a fairly good job. But there's some things that the county does a poor job at because they're just too far away and unresponsive. And those things to me are roads, planning, building and safety, and that sort of thing. And we need to take local control and take control of those things and do a better job than what the county's been doing.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next question, then I'll give you guys an opportunity. Marcia, several of you have talked about having balance in the development, and I think it's fair to say that all of you, no one is looking to have apartments on every corner. No, I think all of you have a fairly balanced thought on that. Marcia, I would ask you specifically, how would you go about that? Would you be contracting with a private contractor for planning? Would you continue to contract through the county for planning? What are your thoughts on how that process would work?
I think planning really depends a lot on the people. And I think we need to be here to listen to what the people want in their community. I think the county has done a very fair job in planning so far, but we do have to keep control. It has to be balanced. I'm not against growth at all, but it needs to be done in a balanced way. We need a little bit of retail, we need some industrial, we need some commercial. Just think how it would be not to have to leave your city to go to work. I don't know very many people that get to stay in Wildomar and work. I have for 35 years, so I'm very happy about that. But Wildemar has given me a lot, and I just feel like I have the time and the energy and want to give back to Wildemar now.
Did anyone else want to comment about the relationship regarding planning being done through the local council as opposed to through Riverside? Anyone else have any thoughts on that? Cheryl?
I think we should transition that immediately. It's not immediately, not the day after, but as soon as possible. It should transition to the city. A number of us have been involved with reviewing all projects that have gone to the county since 2003 at the Planning Commission, Board of Supervisors, working with county staff. We're intimately familiar with all projects in Wildemar right now. I think we can do this right away, and I think it would behoove us to do that because the county looks at it one project at a time, not as a whole community. That's where we lose the balance.
Absolutely. Yes, Roger.
Yes, I'm sure
Roger, can you pull that closer?
yes, the city's going to have to set up a commission or a committee to look at all these projects, and there will be 4 others that will be actively interested in the seat on that committee, because I won't. That's not of a great interest to me. It's not a human thing.
Okay. Steve?
It's interesting to me that the general plan was passed through the Planning Commission 8 weeks before this election, which poses a question of local control. If we want local control, why didn't we do it as a city rather than running up to the county to get the special interest passed?
We will, the Wildemar City Council, the Planning Committee will review the general plan. That general plan was worked on with volunteers from Wildemar for several years, and it was a long time. Just because it happened to be 8 weeks before, it was years in the works for that general plan.
Okay. I want to announce one thing to you. Gary Andre, who slipped out a few minutes ago, was having a little bit of difficulty breathing, and so some of the men of the congregation are with him right now, and I think they're going to go ahead and drive him down to the hospital. I don't know if he has any.
No, the emergency services arrived here. He's out there being seen by the paramedics
Okay,
right
they're
now,
coming here.
and they're going to transport him over to the hospital. But Gary's in stable condition.
I just want you to know that Gary didn't get bored and leave. And,
My goodness.
although if you do, you're welcome to. All right. Okay, did we have any other comments on the relationship of planning and county? Scott?
Well, I would suggest that we would actually contract planning.
Scott, can you pull that a little closer?
I would actually suggest that in the beginning we would contract out our lead planner, not necessarily with the county, but somebody that we as a community decide.
All right. So Scott, let me make sure I understand. I think wasn't it Grant who mentioned having a contract company? So mainly what I'm hearing from the majority of you is that planning needs to be brought more locally if it becomes a city, but you may decide to utilize the services of a private contractor. All right, I think I understand where you're at on that.